this this cleaning system before. This is the kit that Obsessed Garage sells. I bought the kit minus the filter, but yeah, let me tell you, it makes life so much easier. We're not pulling the Honda generator out, starting it up, and you know, running hoses all over the place. So I'm using the Adams foam cannon. I think they're all very, very similar. There's a lot of good ones out there. Matt sells one, but I already have this and it works. It just attaches to your high pressure gun. Super easy. You put your soap and the water in there. You're ready to roll. So one of the things I like about this is the soap is going to sit there. It's kind of like shaving foam. It helps dissolve a lot of the dirt, and as you're washing the car, it lifts the dirt easier, and I don't know, it just makes it easier. Okay, so this is one of those bittersweet moments. I bought this car about 2 years ago with the anticipation of doing an engine swap. Well, since then we've got really busy. The YouTube has definitely helped, and it's kind of hard to fit my own personal projects in. Of course, we've got the NSX2, and whatever spare time I have, I've kind of devoted to that because it's kind of like a new thing to us, something that's cool, and we're learning from it. But this is a green, citrus green pearl Insight. It's only available in the 2000 year. They didn't make many. I believe they made either 200 or 400, I don't remember which, but it's a very rare color. I've been around these cars a lot over the last 10 to 15 years, and this is the only one that I have had my hands on, so I had to have it. Well, things have changed. The NSX has taken up some time. I've also got my eyes on another project, which I'll talk about on another video. So I kind of mentioned this car to a couple of people, and they said yes, I want it. So it looks like it's going to be sold. All right, so now it's much cleaner. Look at that. We did a wash and did the clay bar because it was feeling a little scratch on the paint. Now it is silky smooth, and then give it a wax. Went ahead and vacuumed the inside. Give the seats a quick clean. Can't really tell the door panel. They always get dark here. A little bit there. I might hit that one more time, but much cleaner. Should probably take the key out of there, shouldn't I? Left it in there. So it's bittersweet. Like I said earlier, bittersweet moment. Okay, time for the reveal. So let me tell you about this car, then I'll tell you a little bit about the history, and then we're gonna go ahead and run it and see what it's doing right now. So this is a 2001 Integra GSR. Of course, as you see, it has a Japanese front end. It also has 5-lug suspension, and it has the Japanese Integra Type R wheels on it. So long story, I purchased this car a number of years ago from a good friend of mine. It's gone through a few different combinations, but as it sits right now, it has an engine in that I built. It's a B18C. It has skunk to camshafts, springs and retainers. It has a ported intake manifold. The compression is about 11:1. Completely rebuilt the engine top to bottom. It's a really fresh engine, or it was when I built it. LHT 70mm twin loop exhaust, LHT 4-into-1 header, and that's pretty much it. I don't know exactly how many miles it has on it now since I built it, but the engine still sounds strong, it runs good, everything seems good with the car. So anyway, I bought it off a friend of mine, did part of the build, part of the changes that you see right now. Sold it to another friend. He kept it for a few years. It was time for him to move on, so it was time for him to get rid of this car. And I really didn't have the money for it, but I really wanted this car back. If you know anything about my past, I had a yellow Integra Type R that I ended up building to be a pretty fast car, and it was on the cover of Turbo magazine. I think it was in 2004 or 2005. So I'd miss that car. Of course, I'm not trying to replace it because it's never going to be an Integra Type R. It's just going to have the look and the feel and the excitement, what I'm looking for. So long story, this came up for sale and it was out of my reach. It was definitely worth the price he was asking, but it was out of my reach. I just didn't have the money. I sunk every penny I owned for the down payment of the NSX. A lot of people think if you drive an NSX, you have all kinds of money. Well, let me tell you, you have quite the opposite, because if you have an NSX or a nice car, well, when you spend money, the money doesn't multiply, it actually goes down. Conversation with a couple of friends of mine. Wow, you got a new TV, you must be rich. Well, the money came from somewhere to buy the TV, so now the money is no longer there. Seems like a pretty simple philosophy, but anyway. So all my eggs are in that basket. The NSX isn't going to be a permanent fixture. I do love the car. It's owned by the company, but it's to help progress the company, if that makes sense. So kind of revealing all the little backstories. Okay, so back to this car. I'd seen this car. I wanted it, didn't have the money for it. I ended up borrowing the money. I won't say where, but I borrowed the money. The car is going to be changed. The paint is nice on the car, but this is not my dream color. It is a beautiful color, but it's not my dream color. I've owned a couple of Integras. Obviously, the nicest one was the Phoenix Yellow, which was not originally my first choice, but I did learn to love that color. So I'm going to change the color. And again, it's a big undertaking. We're going to have to take the car apart. While it's apart, we're going to do a few cosmetic upgrades, a few technology upgrades, probably do a change configuration of the engine. Not exactly sure what yet. I'm going to basically build it with whatever parts we can put together, or parts that I can buy along the way. Build it. It's going to be like an ongoing series. So if you're into Integras, you might want to follow this. Again, it's not to boast what we can do. It's just if you can get tips from it, if you see something that we do, if it helps you get ideas to build your car, if it helps with followers, that's the idea. Just, builds the channel and builds the following. So let's go ahead and run this car. Let's see what it does, how it runs. Let's get George over here. I'm going to kind of just sit and watch the tailpipe, listen to the motor, make sure nothing's happening. So I got the official dyno tuner right here, or dyno tester. He's got a lot of experience behind the wheel, so we're going to have George go ahead and run the car. I forgot how to do it. I don't know how to type on the keyboard now. So we're going to bring the car up to temperature. Let's pull this over here. Let's make it vlog style. We'll bring the car up to temperature. Right now it's probably cold. We'll go ahead and start, make sure it starts, because the battery's a little thinky. It's been sitting a while, so the battery didn't want to hold a charge. I put on a slow charger. Seems like it's come back to life. 80 degrees in here. We don't have the wideband hooked up because we're not tuning. As long as it don't blow black smoke or fall on its face, the air fuel is good enough. And we'll go ahead and run it and see what it does. You ready? Not very much.
I wish now it's not close, but I can't. Not close. No, it's like 22.
Alright, so the distributor has been replaced at some point on this, and it had 22 degrees of timing. Who knows, that might be it. We don't have the wideband hooked up. The knock sensor doesn't operate on this, so we don't know if it's knocking, so we'll do another run, see what it does. It's probably pulling time, and apparently the knock sensor is working. He has the app on the phone right now. Ready? Been a little bit more. Still down from where it used to be. Yeah. Ready for all the dyno excuses? So the last time I dynoed this car, I just pulled up the graph and it was intake temp, well, the outside temperature was like 72 degrees. And it was also running stock US ITR wheels, which are a 15 inch, these are 16 inch. I've had a similar dyno experience where you'll do a run, change the wheels, do another run. And going from ITR 15s to the GDO ITRs, I've seen almost 10 horsepower to the wheels. So whether that's explaining why the power's down, I don't know. All motor cars are very finicky. It's like you tune them, and tune them. The weather changes, horsepower changes. So I'm going to let it do a cool down run, do it again, and George is going to look at the knot count, see if it's actually pulling timing. It did have 22 degrees of timing, now it's at 16. So again, if we're going to tune it, maybe we put it to 18 degrees, it'll make more power, but we're not trying to make power with a motor, we're just trying to get a baseline, and then the engine's going to come apart, we're going to change it, rebuild it, change the whole configuration. By the way, if you ever follow me on Instagram, this is where Instagram stuff comes from. Let's do a second gear start. That way I don't have to shift as many times. So it has the LHT 70mm twin loop exhaust. So it's pretty quiet, it's not too bad. Car drives really good. There's a few little things that I would like to address. The typical Integra door, when you slam the door with the window half down, it's kind of loud, it makes a rattle. I remember fixing that on a few cars over the years just because it makes them feel kind of rickety. This steering wheel is a Nardi wheel with this extension, so you get used to it after driving it, but your hands are a long way from the signals and controls, so it feels a little funny. Like I say, you get used to it after driving it for a few minutes, but still not a big fan. I prefer the OEM wheel. So we're heading up to the paint shop right here. We're gonna get an idea of what's involved to paint this. That will be the deciding factor of the long-term plan. If the paint is reasonable, we'll paint it. If the paint is going to be really expensive, well, we'll stick with this paint and we'll go a different direction. Okay, so we are leaving the paint shop. When I say we, it's me and the Integra. So this paint is really nice on this car. Backstory, I took this car to Nopi, the Nopi Nationals, I think it was 5 years ago. And I'll see if I can dig the trophy out, but I won a trophy for best paint, which, I mean, this paint is really good. And it's a custom color, so it really shows nice. So some people are gonna hate me for changing the color. They're gonna go, you know, this is the color that is cool. It's a rare color. It is, but the color I want to change this car to, see me left hand shifting, is a color that I absolutely love. I've always wanted an Integra this color. So that's the plan. I'm gonna change the color, the color. It's gonna have the door jambs painted, the engine bay, the whole deal. I don't like that engine bay a different color style. I respect it, I just don't like it. To me it looks like, which is probably how the trend started, the paint shop wouldn't pull the engine and they wouldn't paint the engine bay, so you just said, hey, leave the engine bay the color of the car, and it turned into a style. Now people intentionally paint the engine bay a different color. Again, I respect the style, I just don't like it. So we're gonna take the car completely apart, go through a few little things along the way. Hold on. We'll go through it. If there's anything that looks a little funky, anything that needs to be updated, we're gonna do some upgrades along the way, a few things to make the car a little bit more special and a little bit more custom. And I'll try and show you some little tips along the way, if it's something you can use to kind of customize your car and kind of fine tune it. Again, that's kind of what it's about, but also just going to document the build and show you what we do. Paint shop, the numbers were where I want to be. I'm not going to disclose the numbers because I don't want to turn it into a debate of my buddy does this and my buddy does that. That's just not, doesn't have an interest to me. This is my paint shop, they do my paint. You've seen it passed on the channel. They're an excellent paint shop. They do it the way I want to do it. So I hope you like the content that's coming up. I hope you like the content that we've got so far. If you do want to follow this Integra, go ahead, click the like, subscribe, share the video, help us build some followers, and hopefully you enjoy the build. And again, get some tips along the way, and if you find some useful ideas that you can use on your car, even better. That's what it's all about. So I'm actually editing this video right now, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off so I can finish this. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. We'll see you next time.